I gotta send the thing. I forgot to send the thing. Wait.
Hold on, I'll have my reposts.
Dear
locked and
internet,
loaded.
please watch the game. Thanks, bye.
For the love of God,
Hello.
watch our epilogue,
Hello,
please.
you guys.
Oh man.
It's been 4 years.
Shakes whiskey glass.
Yeah. I'm honestly just glad that it's not I'm still not at a point that me having a little too much alcohol last night does not mean I'm just like in bed for 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. But apparently I cannot type a URL.
Proud of you.
There we go. Jesus Christ. Hey, it's Tenements of the Great Rift. We're back. It's a D&D campaign doing it live thing that's been going for 4 years.
Yeah.
And today is the last one.
Woof. No.
Wild. Absolutely wild. Hey. We haven't done this in a while. We're going to go around the table, introduce ourselves and our characters. And then I'll give us a brief recap of what happened last time. Spoiler alert, it was the end of the big fight. And then we're going to talk through the end. The end of our adventure, our characters, our campaign. Cal, you're first.
Yes. Hi. I'm Nation of Joe. I am here as Halufras Rocknar, a barbarian dragonborn who chose the path of the Storm Herald and is clinging to life right now.
Hi, I'm Glassy Woodtone. I play Whirl, the Genasi Bardlock. She's an eloquence bard, so anything she says is correct. And
Sound like a robot.
no,
Close roll 20 or something.
I did. I like updated my fucking router and everything.
Oh man.
Anyway,
that's better.
well, she's cool and I love her. And her dad is a genie and also her warlock patron. The end.
Next.
That is yes.
Hey, what's up? Hi, I'm Ash or Ashen Rabbit, and I play Iz, the changeling warlock. She wasn't a warlock at first, but now she is, and forever will be.
We're gonna need to talk about that later, by the way.
Yeah.
Yes.
That whole thing.
Please.
God. And her patron is the time god dude that I love so very much. Yay.
Hi guys, I'm Logan or Nerd Warudo. As I'm trying to change all my stuff too. I've been playing Taryn Harris, the Tiefling cleric. At the start of the game, he was a light cleric, but then Tasha's got released, and I was like, ooh, Twilight cleric would be so much better. So he kind of made that shift there in the middle.
We're probably gonna have to talk about that too.
Oh,
That's
of
how long
course.
we've been playing this is that we had so many things altered because Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out, and we're like,
It was a
cool
game changer.
options.
It was literally a game changer.
But yeah, uncannily good with pre-level 20 divine interventions. I think he went 2 for 3.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I'm Sam, Cobalt Painter, and I play Gert, the ASMR Life Cleric, and she has, her patron is Osiris, and her best baby is a hippogriff named Claudius.
Excellent. All right, so here's the scene. Last time we finished the big fight, which was epic, by the way. You guys nailed it. We fought Astaroth in his demiplane, I'm gonna call it, and succeeded. You guys survived 2 Fingers of Death and 2 power word kills.
Yeah.
Nuts.
Damn. Fucking wild. Anyway, you have now, after the demiplane has basically been blipped out of existence, you are on the ground with, so it's all of you and the unconscious Mother Yolantha, basically at the foot of where the rift opened, like just in the middle of the Desert Valley. There have been bodies of demons sprawled around you, as well as folks who had clearly been fighting all of these demons that were spewing out of the Great Rift the entire time you were in it, and more demons falling out of the sky. All of the demons basically just turn to dust as you kind of gather yourselves and look around and see what's going on, and then everyone else is still here. So that's the scene for you to begin. What would you like to do?
Did we go through some sort of something that gave us a lot of spells back?
No.
No.
No? Okay.
It is.
I did think we
Did
got
the
3
divine
back.
intervention? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, Iz did use the friendship bracelets to do a divine intervention for spell slots.
Copy. Right.
that-
Okay.
Yeah, I think the exact wording was 3 spell slots, and it was just any ones that we wanted back.
Yeah.
Great. That's okay.
Yep, that checks out.
Yep,
'Cause
yep,
that's
yep.
all is needed, and she didn't know how many y'all needed. So
Yeah.
that's all she bargained for.
Well, she also followed
Ah.
suit of like making it very specific because of how the last one went.
Right.
Yeah. And how many people are around me?
All of you guys and Yolantha. Well, okay,
4 or 5.
dozens of
Do we wanna just,
like
like-
random people sprawled about that were fighting the demons.
Important people. So there's 5 of us. 5 of us and Yolantha.
And then Ifriti and Templar.
Fridi, Templar, and Claudius.
How is Afridi doing? How is Afridi and Templar doing?
They're generally looking much better than you guys.
Great.
Yeah.
Well, I guess how is Yolantha doing as well?
She's
She's
unconscious.
unconscious.
Yeah.
Great. So we're gonna do a mass cure wounds level 9
Jesus.
Ooh.
on
That's
all of
sick.
us.
You had a level 9 still?
That's
Jesus.
the one I got back,
And
baby.
And you're a life cleric, so it's just max, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yep.
It is.
Oh my
No
God.
rolling here.
Which is 7d8 plus 14.
Jesus Christ.
Nice.
So we all get 70
Wow.
back,
That's amazing.
except for Claudius. That's
Oh
okay.
my
buddy.
God.
Wait.
Oh my goodness.
7d8 plus 14?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't have to roll.
56.
Oh,
It
do I not have to
automatically-
roll anymore?
Oh no, that's right. That is right.
Yeah.
It's just,
Yeah.
yeah.
It just does
Said
it.
D8
I just
and
didn't.
I thought D10. I was like, wait.
No, I just didn't want to do the math in my head.
Fair.
But I also get plus 9, 11 more than that.
Yes.
Woo.
Yes.
Because life cleric.
Because
Yes.
life cleric. So
You're so
I
good.
get
Insane.
81.
Excellent.
Thank you. Oh no, don't want to do that. That's
Life
weird.
clerics, man.
Okay,
True.
why- Can you stop doing that? Sorry.
Is that like pick a number of people or just everyone in a vicinity?
It's 6 people in a 30-foot radius of me.
Fair.
Or 6 creatures in a 30-foot radius of me.
Okay.
So
Okay, so that happens, and Yolantha does manage to take breath and sit up, and she's just gonna kind of like be holding her head and looking toward you all with these wide eyes, like she's been through something. Kind of like me this morning. Oh man. But she's there, she's
Fighting.
alive, she's okay.
Hi.
Fighting the legions of the abyss feels the same as a wild night.
Yep. I think it'd probably be a little bit worse. But yeah.
Hi.
Sorry, I cut off.
I see you held it down out here.
You saying that to her?
Yeah. I assume so. She's the only one that we know around
I've-
here, and it seems like we haven't made anybody less dead.
I've not been out here.
Yeah. No, where's Braylon?
I don't know.
Where were you? Like what you were in an alternate space with Braylon.
No, because he fought us, and then his staff exploded, and we chose to not kill him. And so we have no idea where adult
Shit.
Braylon is. Yeah.
Right.
Or was
He
she
could be
aware?
dead. He could have just shunted somewhere else. We don't know.
Mhm.
We might have gone to Little Braylon.
She looks sorry for the movie reference here, but every definition of dazed and confused.
Poor thing. Aw.
And as a reminder for you guys, the last time you saw her was when Braylon was kidnapping her,
Right.
taking her through some random portal to wherever.
Yeah.
What was the last thing you remembered before you were down here?
I remember being grabbed from behind and slipping through a doorway.
Hmm.
Do you guys have any extra heals we could maybe try and get other people in the area up? Do we need to triage the situation? What do we do?
I
Is
mean,
that, like,
yeah.
how dead does everybody look around us, or do people just look down?
You can make a sweeping medicine check.
Roll medicine. Did it show up?
Scroll.
Is
It
it
did not.
showing up? Do you give a shit today, computer? Down to 20. How many times am I gonna have to click things? All right, cool. Hold please. 9 plus 4, 13.
Yeah, really hard to tell if there's like anything you can actually do about this situation. Everybody, it looks like a fucking battleground that is just a wasteland now. People definitely look dead.
Do we see any of our people specifically?
Ooh. Investigation check.
If I seek or like going around and looking for specific people, I'll cast guidance.
What do I get
Fair
with
enough.
guidance?
A
D10? Oh,
D4.
4.
Just a D. Yeah, it's a cantrip.
Yeah.
It's nothing.
Guidance
crazy.
doesn't change.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
I was thinking
That would be
inspo.
Yeah, and that's a 12.
Okay.
That'd be insane if it was 4d4.
So
Um,
I've got a 20.
Okay, so you don't see anybody that you recognize. Nobody like from Red Larch, nobody from the towns you visited. This looks like a whole bunch of random new people.
I wonder if these are people from Waterdeep that came to fight.
I see some confusion. You did give warning to enough important people that it
Yeah.
would make sense
Yeah.
that word got out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You did really do good diligence for like everybody fucking go was like the
Yeah.
message you sent to a bunch of important people before you went in. So
Um, should we go back to the school?
uh,
Because that was the last place that young Braden was. Correct?
In Waterdeep, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
The school in Waterdeep, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And someone was staying with him to protect him while others were fighting.
Sure.
Because I feel like he's our last loose end.
Sure. I can get us there.
I could cast sending to see what the situation's like
That's
and
fair.
see if before we are like go there, use a teleport,
like,
and just kind of stuck there. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Should I send it to Braylon to see if older Braylon is there, or should I like try to send it to that person who is staying with him? Because I'm thinking if I send it to Braylon, then he would have like the direct contact with the older version of him if those two did interact. But I don't know how much of a grasp of the situation as a whole he would have.
I would send it to an adult. Because they will give us a better answer of what is actually happening. We don't know that he knows that anything's happened.
Okay, sure. Yeah, I'll send it to whoever was staying with him. If I look through my notes long enough, I could probably find it. But that'll
I
take a minute.
believe it was just the headmaster. I forget the guy's name, but it was the headmaster of the school.
It was the headman. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'll start casting sending, and let me pull up Discord so I can type this out. We are back. How is Waterdeep and Braylon?
Maybe something like there's a lot of carnage. Send help if you can.
Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Many bodies and injuries. Send as much help as you can. We're at 19.
I mean, that'll get the message across.
Yeah, I guess we don't need to use all 25.
Love ya.
Thanks, bye.
We could pull a corn dog and just put a fuck at the end of it.
Yeah. Hindsight, it was a good call that you guys decided to take sending, because otherwise everything would have been like full stream of consciousness at a whirl.
I
Okay.
put that in chat.
Yeah.
Or in the character talk.
Okay, you would get a response. Waterdeep is stable but messy. All emergency personnel are occupied here. I imagine the same everywhere else. Braylon is here and safe.
Okay. Yeah, I would relay that message to everyone else. I think if we were to go somewhere, Waterdeep would be the place, since Red Larch was hallowed.
Hmm.
There was, unless they had someone who was able to get rid of that, which they would have to be in Red Larch to do it. I doubt there would be a ton of destruction at Red Larch.
Do we want to call
Um,
and check in on Red Larch?
Yeah, I can do that too.
Call and check in.
I mean,
All right, pulls
Yeah.
out that little
do we want to
contact
pull?
flipper.
Do we want to send a sending to somebody in Red Larch? Was that a better number of words that you guys wanted me to use?
Oh man.
Yeah, okay. So we'll do another sending. We'll do one to we'll send one to the constable.
Did he stay in Red Larch or did he come here?
Well, we don't see anybody here that we recognize.
Right. Okay.
And if we recognized him, then he would not be here.
Yes. Okay.
Or he's under a bunch of bodies.
Yeah. That's true.
we'll find out if the message doesn't hit.
Right. Spoiler alert, he's dead.
He's dead. No. Yeah, so I'll send to the constable. I'll just say, how is Red Larch? Need any emergency repairs, or I'll say need any, like, what would be the term for that? Like,
You go, fam?
That checks out.
exactly that.
I hate it, but yes.
Exactly that.
Fuck. Oh man.
Oh
All
my
right.
goodness.
Okay, he will respond. And it's gonna be a response that he sounds to you like bewildered or flabbergasted. Like he just can't believe what's going on right now with the tone of his voice. Red Larch is untouched, is all he says. And I would like to actually describe this for our audience, but also you guys. There's no way you'd like see this in character until you actually got there, but there are piles, and I mean like troves of dust
Oh.
that you would understand as like the dusted Thanos snapped bodies of demons around a perfect circle around the perimeter of Red Larch.
Oh.
Oh, let's go.
How a spell works, baby.
Goodness.
That's
That's so
fucking dope.
And,
Like,
yeah,
That's so
and like
satisfying.
people in Red Larch, kind of like at the edges of the the four-way
Yeah.
like big streets, like at the ends of all four of those, just kind of like crowding around and looking. Imagine like panning out like insert zombie movie here with just like
yeah.
piles of dust that they're all just looking at.
Cool cell.
Shit worked.
Crazy.
I have a ton of magic left if we want to do the same with like Tribor and Yartar and
Yeah,
and
I mean,
things like
I've got
that.
sending too, so we can reach out to whoever we like.
I think that would be a good spot to like see how everyone's doing in terms of like their like repair efforts or like just the general well-being of their settlements. You want to take Tribor or Yartar so we could just get it at the same time?
Which one had the cool lady that we thought was boinking the constable?
That was Tribor.
Tribor,
Yeah,
I'll
I
go with
think it was
Tribor.
Tribor because I think Yartar was the other one. that was
Yeah.
Yep.
We didn't think that she was, but we wanted her to be because
We
it
were
was like
trying to
it's gonna
set
be
them
an
up.
We were
enemy
trying to
to
set 'em
lover
up.
situation.
Yeah.
Oh,
And you're like, he has
And
a
then we
wife, and we were like, does he?
Does he,
Does he really?
Is it canon
Funny.
or?
Oh man.
Goodness.
So yes, I'll reach out that way, and I'll just give a, how y'all doing? Do you need extra help or health coming your way?
Okay. And for Yartar?
I'm just realizing I don't think I've met any of the the leadership in Yartar.
I was just thinking that too.
Yeah,
like, how are you gonna
I
do
think-
this?
I think
So
the
I'll
only
send-
person we knew from Yartar now lives in Red Larch because it was the fucking donut guy.
There was
that
the
we
one
sent to move.
person. There was the one person who either sold or was about to sell you guys those little earrings with like shiny rocks. I don't know if they were like quite
Yeah.
precious gems. So I'll
They're
send a
not.
message to that person,
Okay.
and I will say, we met once like a couple weeks ago. We closed the rift. Want to see how Yartar is doing?
If there was ever a sliding into the DMs in D&D, this is it.
Hey, so I know this is kind of weird, but
Oh my god, love your post.
You remember that one time? Jesus.
Good
Oh
God.
man. All right. Gert will get a response stating that everything is a mess. There are hurt and killed people everywhere. And then all of the demons just disappeared. Taryn, the first half of your response back is gonna be a very confused, like, who are you? What is this? I don't understand. And then kind of a messy response of the same thing. Everything is a mess. There are people killed and hurt all over the place. And then those creatures just disappeared.
so Yartar's not in great shape, gang.
So, out of curiosity, how equipped do we think Red Larch is to be a refuge for
I mean,
displaced humanity while things are being rebuilt?
We'll have to probably talk about this in broad strokes.
yeah.
For sure.
But I would say that's not a bad idea. You know that that Red Larch is quite literally untouched.
Mm.
It's usually a busy town. There's not much as far as like unused space, but you have the constable, you have you have at least a couple of inns with rooms available, and as far as you know, like, the people that you've met there would be amenable to taking people in. So I'd say it's a doable situation. Yeah.
And there's work in the quarry as well.
Yep.
Also, we could also see if the constable or just general members of the town would be willing to help rebuild those cities.
Yeah.
And that could open up more space.
Sure.
I like that. I think that should be our next move.
So let's get back to Red Larch. Have a talk with the constable about humanitarian efforts.
Do we maybe want to get him in contact with the school in Waterdeep and like have them like tag team that? Because I'm sure if Waterdeep's also having a tough time. I mean, I realize like also the small towns around are, but I wonder if there's any other resources from Waterdeep they might be able to send to Red Larch to help the greater area out here.
I'm saying Waterdeep is in major shit too.
Yeah,
Right.
Waterdeep was also not in the best state right now. I mean, we
Okay.
could see though. I don't think it would hurt to like send out anything that could like send out a request for like anything that could be spared. But I don't think we should expect it.
Sure. Then yeah, let's just go to Red Larch, get it set up to accept other people, and then we'll just tell Waterdeep, hey, heads up, if you can send a small number of people, we've created a refuge on accident.
On accident. Whoops. Uh-oh.
Well, it was like, hey, let's just keep this spot safe, and then everything got destroyed, and we're like, oh, it's a perfect little haven.
Yeah.
Whoops the doodles. Great, let's go.
Just do it.
Okay, so
no.
did I hear to Waterdeep or to Red Larch and sending a message to Waterdeep?
To Red Larch.
Red
I think we're just,
Red
yeah,
Larch.
back to Red Larch.
Okay.
Because we're gonna try to get the constable to
Yeah.
send
We
a
need to
message, so
we
it's
need
like-
to ask him permission
Yeah.
because like it's his town.
Yeah.
That's not
Right.
our town, folks. we don't own Red Larch.
We're still technically just mercenaries. We're not.
Yeah.
True. Okay, so you are insert some passage of time here.
I was gonna say, do we want to walk or do you want me to teleport us all there? I can do one. Teleport.
Well, how long does it take us to walk?
Like half a day.
Because
We've just
if-
been beating things for the last like 4 months. Do we want to just like take an Uber or do we want to walk 4 hours?
Well, I'm saying if we walked, we could see the extent of the damage.
That's fair.
I would also like a nice relaxing, like some downtime, you know. Take a breather.
Does someone want to be a giant animal and I could turn someone into a giant animal and then we could fly more of
Oh
us
my
there?
God. Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Can changelings train animals? I don't think so. That would be sick.
I
That'd be
think,
dope.
That'd be really
I think you can only
funny.
turn
That'd be
into
too
people.
easy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that's
what
fair.
What about an air cockcraft?
I mean,
By the way,
I've
is
never seen one.
where is? I was wondering about this.
Huh.
Where'd your familiar go?
yeah.
Oh, I left them in Red Larch a long time ago.
Okay,
there.
okay. I
I
was
I
just
was too afraid to have them come along.
okay. I
Uh,
was
They've
just
been
wondering.
chilling.
Okay,
Yeah, they've been hanging.
I thought about this recently. It's like-
It's also because I forgot that I had a familiar. Hey, little bird, you can just chill
I
here,
was
my
like,
dude.
It's not.
Is that a bird? And then
Debbie's been dead
turned
for
into-
weeks.
Sorry, friend.
oh
It was-
gosh.
It wasn't the Hallow spell. Is this familiar killing all of the demons?
Hecking them all. Get down,
Pecking
little
them all to
crow.
death.
Hell yeah.
Goodness. Okay.
Truth be told, it was one of like the last Mystic Arcanum things that I could do as a warlock that made sense for the character. And even then,
Mhm.
I was like, why would she have one of these? It's either that or I take something that I already have. So
Mhm.
Sure.
cool, I guess.
Copy.
Oh, good golly.
Okay, so walking to Red Larch.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Every once in a while, you will see like a merchant with a cart just on the ground, dead. There's really not much on the roads aside from that, and then when you get to Red Larch, you'll see the exact scene that I described the pan out from. Just like a mountain of ash and dust in this like perfect circle around the very outside of Red Larch, and people just kind of meandering about, for the most part meandering about, and but there are a few that clearly look like they have some kind of like functional purpose, like they're going around checking on people and in and out of buildings and stuff like that. It seems like they're like just starting to figure out like the threat is over and what can we do to make sure everybody's okay.
Is the constable out doing anything like visibly, or can we not see him as we enter the town?
I'm not gonna ask for a check for this. It's obvious that he's out and about doing things, kind of trying to direct people and what do I want to say? Like trying to keep people calm and reassured. It's clear that he's at like the helm of trying to get things organized.
Yeah, I'd wave him down when he's like just after he finishes like directing someone or a group of people.
Yeah, he'll come to you. It's notable to say that Yolantha like goes straight for you would know she's going straight for the her home,
the orphanage.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I was gonna start with so how's everything looking? Do we need help with anything, or is it just kind of a panic from what just happened?
I completely missed the first half of that. I was distracted by something else. I'm sorry. Say it again.
It's okay. I said what's going on here? Do we need to help with anything, or is this just panic from what just happened?
From what I can tell, this is just people making sure that we're okay, but I'm pretty sure we're okay.
Great. We had a couple things we wanted to talk to you about when things settle down and when you get a chance. I don't want to take your attention away from helping these people out, but we need to talk about the neighboring cities, because they weren't so fortunate, and we want to discuss possibly helping them out, but only when you are free of time to do that.
Sure. Yes. I think we're fine. Let's make it happen. What do you think?
Gert had a great idea, and I think she should brief you on that.
So you seem to be the only safe haven within hundreds of miles, possibly. So would you be willing to be that safe space and be that refuge for those who have been displaced from this, while they rebuild and make their cities whole again?
Willing? Absolutely. The what's and hows we'll have to figure out. I mean, if we're the only safe haven, that's going to be a lot of people, but we can make it work. We'll figure it out.
Because from the discussions that we've had all the way to Waterdeep is a mess. It's gone. It's a disaster. And if people would be willing to open their homes, if we could find space if we could make some tents in the quarries, if we could just find space for people to survive.
Okay, stupid idea.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of space in those keeps. And there's
Ooh.
beds in the keeps.
Yeah.
And how many of those were already set up to be places that people lived?
Yeah.
There's also the Dwarven, like, city underneath Red Larch.
Are
That's
the
a lot of
keeps
space.
standing?
That would have been good to know while we were still there.
So
I
the
don't
Yeah.
think we demolished any of them completely. No.
yeah, you left them intact. So that is viable for at least like a couple dozen people each.
Yeah.
And then
There is that. Sorry.
no, sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say there is that dragon turtle. In one of them.
that was in the
That's-
lower temple.
was
The,
in the lower-
the
okay.
keep is safe. Yes.
Okay.
Gert will make him
Good-
her
good
friend
thought.
this time. Like, let's be real. It's been
Well-
literally weeks.
Oh man.
We'll be fine. We'll make that dragon turtle work.
Okay.
All right.
But
so-
again, we can again there are beds, but also tough times, right? We can have sleeping bags on floors. We can, you know, if there is a roof and space, I think that is safer than rubble.
True.
Absolutely.
Okay. The constable will confirm that Red Larch will do whatever they can with people, with space, with help. And kind of toward the end of this conversation, Gert, you're going to feel a hand on your clasp over your shoulder. And at that same moment, for everyone, everything around you freezes and turns to like grayscale.
Ah, shit, not this again.
You all are still able to move, talk, see what's going on around you, etc. But like everything else and everyone is just frozen in time. And you turn around, you're going to see two robed and hooded people. And Gert, the one that has their hand on your shoulder, is just going to like give you a sort of head bow. You would just innately know that this is a I don't know if I want to say like incarnation or visage of Osiris. You just got the feel good right now and understanding it, that it's him. And he's going to talk to you all. Your efforts have been commendable, would be an understatement. We cannot thank you enough for what you've done. And in exchange for it, we will grant each of you, within our power, of course, one wish.
Holy shit.
And
Got mine.
in character, like actual wish spell wish.
Hmm. I don't care. I know what mine is and it's perfect. Can I go last?
Can we discuss amongst ourselves before we use our wishes?
Of course.
I'll kind of like turn to everyone, and I'll say that I'm content with where I am right now, so I'm fully willing to use a wish to restore the other cities as much as they can be. I'm not sure what comes after this, and I don't want to regret something that I could, or I don't want to regret this wish, and I know that being able to put those places back on the map would be something that I would never look back on negatively. So I don't want anyone to feel a responsibility to do that. I'm fully willing to do that, so everyone can have their wishes.
Bro, I can also wish for that. My wish is like totally not important. It's kind of a joke actually, but like, yeah.
But like
I'm,
I don't
I'm
have
also down to do that.
yeah, like I don't have like a thought for like it genuinely just like I don't know what else I could want. So
That's fair.
I would rather be entertained or like be surprised at your wish than to be like I didn't want this. I don't need this fucking staff anymore. What did I wish for this for? But
Fair.
yeah. But, so yeah.
Okay, so we got the the Boy Scout wish out of Terran. They'll
Sure.
leave everything better than you found it. Who's next?
I mean, that was probably going to be mine as well. I know that there is something else that I don't know if it's possible to wish for this. I don't. They're all gone. They've been gone for a long time.
The
So,
beauty of a wish, though, it helps make impossible things possible.
You deserve a chance with as much as you've given to everyone else.
Osiris, is that wish even feasible?
It is.
Okay. So what does everybody else want?
What do you want, Cal?
I am going to be whispering this to Osiris, aka I'm writing the DM a DM.
How
Hey,
wishes
sliding into
for-
into the DMs of the DM works for me. So.
Oh
how
man.
wishes for all spaghetti to not exist anymore.
I have an idea of what his wish is, and if depending on what happens, that also might be my wish. But I have a sillier wish.
All of a sudden, all of you at the same time forget what ice cream is.
Oh,
Cal just cackles and cackles. and
that's
cackles.
mean spirited.
No.
The next BBEG emerges.
Oh, that just means we
Ice
get to
cream
discover it
implied.
from Pal.
The
That's
quest,
true.
the
We get to
quest to
discover
bring
ice
back
cream
ice
again.
cream.
Oh no, I will make sure that I forget it as well. Everybody forgets it. It doesn't exist and cannot be invented.
Oh,
Everybody
man.
forgets about the existence of ice cream.
That is true evil.
Actual
And
literal
donuts.
worst.
I thought you'd be going along the lines of, I want to forget what it's like watching The Princess Bride for the first time and experience that. Like
My
that
name is
kinda
Inigo
level.
Montoya. Oh shit! All right, while he's writing that out, anyone else, or who's next?
See, the only thing that I would wish for, I feel like, is just an ask that I have for somebody and not necessarily a life-changing, altering sort of thing. I don't know that I have one. That's my problem and a burden, but all I have is an ask. That's it. Whether it happens or not, I'm still going to be around for a long time. So, I don't know that I have one right now. Actually, I do have one. I want to give it to the Templar. Whatever he wants.
Ooh. Okay.
That's where the ask even comes in, is something for him.
All right. You will be met with just a silent nod for that.
Cool. Spooky.
So did we actually forget what ice cream was, or was it a different one?
Jesus.
I don't know what pavlova is.
Because I have two, and one is nice and one is silly, and I want to know which one I need to do. Because I would like the nice one to happen, but I don't know what his is, and so I don't know if we're.
You can't know if you don't ask or say anything.
I'm gonna send two things to the DM, and they are dependent on what happens.
All right. Shenanigans, all of you,
Okay.
shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
So while Andrea is doing that, I'm gonna actually give you what my full wish actually is.
Okay. Lay it on me.
So Gert's full wish is not just for her parents, but for her town and for the people in her town to be back, and for her town to no longer be destroyed, and for everyone to be happy and healthy and thriving.
Nice.
I love that.
Very good.
Okay.
There's actually been another town that's been built like in that spot. So
Oh,
then
no.
it just
Yeah, we never did actually go back to check.
No, we didn't.
No, oh, wait, you did go there at one point.
We talked about going there, but we never
we talked
actually
about it a lot. I
did.
don't think we did.
Oh, you
because
didn't
I
actually go there?
offered it.
Could have
Yeah.
sworn that you did. Okay,
I
anyway.
think it was in like dreams and shit.
Yeah.
Okay. Whirl. It
Yeah.
would be the first one.
That's fine.
Do you say this out loud, or is it a secret?
I would wait to see what happened if I could with Cal's wish, or I would like make an insight check at him to see if I could figure out how his brain worked.
Yeah, make an insight check.
Just gonna stare at him. Stare into his giant eyes.
that was in yard stare, soldier eyes.
16 plus 4 is 20, and then she's gonna use one of her genie d4s. Boop. 22. Because I know, but I think she will obviously figure it out.
Um,
Yeah.
you know with good confidence that Cal has pretty much always wanted to just be at peace.
Sure.
And I think, tell me if I'm over assuming here, but I think that Whirl would get a feeling that she should probably respect that now. What he's asking for, he's keeping to himself on purpose and for his own reasons that really doesn't have anything to do with anybody else.
Okay. Well then, after staring at him and judging his face, she would look around the team and go, "Well, I think we all know that we're missing someone here." And she would wish for Talek to come back. Very hesitantly, stand next to him.
It's come full circle.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's really
Character
good.
growth, motherfuckers.
Okay. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. If you're gonna describe that, I'll wait because I was just gonna specifically word Terran's wish.
Oh yeah, go ahead. I want it to hopefully get all the wishes out before describing what happens.
Okay, cool. Yeah, Terran would wish. He would approach Osiris and say, "I wish for the towns destroyed and the good people as judged by Tyr to be those who were destroyed and killed during the opening of the rift to be restored if those people would like to return to life."
Nice. Okay. I think that's all of them, right? That's everybody?
Yeah, I think Iz would just kind of like nudge the Templar, like, "Hey, we gotta have a talk after this, but that's yours. That's it. That's all I'm saying. But you get to keep that."
I never said that the second person was the Templar, but
Oh,
the second person is going to pull their hood down, and you'll see a very human-like version of the same man. At first glance, he'd be kind of almost unrecognizable because you saw a lich and then the Templar, which was like the 8-foot winged angel. But he's got, I'm gonna say, when he pulls his hood back, he's got facial features that are extremely familiar. Is a bald-headed human man. As far as like physical features goes, he wouldn't look like anything or anybody special. But he's just gonna give you the one side of the mouth smile. And he'll describe to you that his desire is to just go back and live a normal, good life. And then Osiris will give you all a deep bow and basically start to walk away. And he's going to just kind of disappear over a few seconds as he walks off down one of the roads. And in his place will appear Talek. And then everything goes back to normal. The color is back. People around you are moving and talking again and figuring things out. You will notice that the dust around the perimeter of Red Larch is gone. Just poof, gone. And all of you would get the feeling that the things you wished for have been done. Just this like understanding in yourselves that it has been done. I think here is where we should say we're going to break character and kind of go over the table unless there's anything else specific that you guys want to talk through.
I feel satisfied.
Yeah.
Okay. Sit, I guess semi over the table. Whirl. You try your damnedest for however long you would choose.
Hmm.
You are not able to find Cal ever.
Do I find his house?
Nope.
Oh, because if I never like find him again, I would assume because of his like advanced age and overeducatedness, I would like to find his house and just in general plant food there, whether he eats it or not, or whether anybody eats it or not, as like a vile friend. You curmudgeony little fuck.
So Cal, I'm gonna leave it up to you if because of what you sent me, if there's anything that she's able to find at all, or does she have to make it like, does she have to make a shrine in Cal's honor, or, you know, kind of do it herself? What do you think?
So I think it would be a while. Maybe a couple months, maybe a couple years, but it'll be a little bit. And I think that through connections and other sources that he was able to procure, I think that wherever anybody ended up, they would find a letter from Cal. And included with the letter are some. I'm not going to get too much into detail, but like basically, like, yeah, splitting up some of like the belongings and some of like the inheritance, so to speak. I think specifically he would give he has a little one of the things that he's had for a long time as part of his backstory slash you know, something that was just with him since the start, was a small piece of like a war banner when he was like a younger soldier. The Lord's Alliance, I want to say was his affiliation. And he would leave that specifically to Terran. And there's just general like notes of well-wishing and thanks for one last hurrah, and just giving everybody a sense of like, I'm doing okay, don't worry about it. Probably specifically with Whirl, stop looking, you'll never find me. With some jovial inputs here and there. But yeah, he'll just personalize a little letter for everybody and have leave little trinkets and things. And maybe, just maybe, after after a few more years or time of searching for him, it is possible that Whirl finds some different things that are, you know, left behind. So maybe, you know, depending on where the world takes her, she'll find Thunderpoke kind of stuck in the ground somewhere. And she'll, you know, recognize it, but what she does with it is up to her. But just little things here and there that he will leave across for them as sort of thanks, but also as just like little things of stop worrying, go adventure more, and live all your lives, kind of a thing.
I think if Terran is established in what he does after, and that's when he gets that banner, he would eventually use the resources that he can muster to cast a glyph of warding on the banner, and then have it encased in like a frame. And then within that glyph of warding would be a sunburst spell, so anybody who tries to touch it with stealing it would be incinerated immediately.
Jesus.
Yeah.
Tearing ain't fucking around.
Aaron ain't fucking around.
It's symbolic. It's not. It's not worth anything.
Karen, love.
It's worth everything.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
Perrin's out here like it belongs in the museum.
Oh my goodness.
Oh shit.
I would also end up having like the frame inscribed with Genesis of the RT Boys or something of that ilk.
Nice.
Mm.
Nice. Yeah, what else? This is where we're gonna kind of Cal kicked it off, but kind of exhibition style, I guess. Kind of talk through what you want for your character after all of this turmoil.
I mean, I think the two biggest things then that Whirl would do, other than her like blood debt to try and find Cal, she'd go home to I don't remember the town that she's from, but she would go back to where her mom lives, and make sure that her parents are okay, and like spend some time getting to know Brian again, and just like hanging out for a while, and then the itch would hit her again to go back out in either adventure or do general other musical things, and whether that's with remaining RT Boys or whether she gets back with her old band, or if that's other people, she's happy with whatever. And then she might also try and find Bastion, and like convince him to not join the Wizards of Day, whoever the fuck they are, and then maybe see if she could get him set up with like an actual teaching situation with the Academy. NBD.
So, honestly, I mean, obviously, Gert's gonna go home, but I think she is going to make a pit stop at the Academy, and how do I want to describe this? Adopt Braylon in a way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so that he is still getting his training part-time at the Academy, but he is also living with a loving family for part of his life as well, so that he has both experiences and he is not fully entrenched in a world of just wizarding.
Nice.
Yeah. So he's going to live part-time there and part-time with working the land and growing strawberries and living in a little cottage with Gert and Gerard and Nancy, I think was her name. And you know, and yeah, and just have a really humble life, but also then go live in the city in Waterdeep and understand, because they're very close, you know, so it's not like they're traveling huge distances, so that they can keep an eye on him.
All right.
So first thing that Taryn would do after this, he would basically immediately after like the wish situation is done with, he would at some point either maybe later that day or within a couple days, he would come to the constable and discuss like memorializing, maybe not memorializing, uh, commemorating the Afridi's help in that final battle, um, because of how big of a help he was, um, whether that be like a plaque or something similar to hang up just to give him recognition, um, because he was, because of how helpful he was. Um,
You know what I'm just realizing as you're saying this?
hmm,
I don't think you guys ever got his name.
we
Nope.
never did, but
Excellent.
but I have communication spells. It'll be fine. We'll figure
Okay,
it out at some point. We'll
fair.
Just refer to him as "Hello, friend" for the rest of your
Hi,
life
friend.
because now it's too late to ask.
Hey, you just start like looking over whatever he's writing
Hey,
on and just see
buddy.
if he
Hey,
has his
friend.
name. Yeah, then he would visit the All Faith Shrine and talk to Emdar and Yolantha and just generally thank them for the help and like the guidance that they have shown him. But then he would go back home to Newfort, and he would confront his parents, his birth parents, about how they had judged him when he was a baby. It would be less of like a standoffish confrontation and more of a "what were you thinking" kind of thing. He would have that
with
talk
who?
with
Sorry.
his parents.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yep. He would just have that talk with them, and then no matter how that went, he would then go to the he would then set up a tier and order, or he would begin to make steps to establish a tier and order in Newfort, that would expunge the corrupted or and judgmental views of Lathander, as he would come to find out that Lathander isn't the kind of guy who's like, tieflings should not exist, as opposed to that just being the dogma from that specific institution.
Sure.
So he would expunge that sect from Newfort and establish it as being Tyrion instead. And he would kind of organize this. He would organize this new order to go out and help those in need. He would be very, very humanitarian situation. And he would just build that up over time. Specifically, he would probably personally make a journey to Silvery Moon and personally see that Iz's mother is helped financially, because of her because of how she chooses to take in children and help them. He would personally see that out and make sure that she is comfortable. And then eventually, once that is constantly running, and he is like out and about and helping people, he would eventually try to establish a line of communication with Asmodeus, because he wants to communicate with him and gain a sense of understanding of what the Blood War is from the Devil's perspective. And then this is where I'm a little back and forth, because I can see this going one of two ways. This could either go as to Terran's good nature being exploited, because this is the archdevil of the Nine Hells.
Yep.
Or this would be a very conservative use of communication, and he would determine that he would use this information to help him determine what is set standards for rewarding righteous and punishing the perverse.
Jesus Christ! Insert new campaign here.
Right.
I would so be down for Terran to become a BVEG. That would be
Oh man.
Speaking of new campaigns,
insane.
Woo.
And then And then if he ever has free time, of course, he's gonna help the rest of the RT boys with anything that they would want going on. It is a like a humanitarian thing going on, so there would be no reason for him not to help.
Nice. I'm gonna leave all of that to your imaginations and not say anything specific because it's Terran's story and he's living in it, as far as I'm concerned.
It's Schrodinger's Terran.
That's very good.
Excellent. If I'm not mistaken, is all that's left, right?
Oh, okay. Is burdened with a insurmountable amount of time before her. With the powers that she has had wrought upon her, she doesn't age very easily. It takes her 10 years to age 1 year. So she's going to be around for a very, very, very long time. And had it in her head to seek out the Templar and see what she could do to help him. But seeing that he just wanted a normal life, didn't really have it in her to bother him with anything else. He's been encapsulated in time for so long, God knows how long, and has taught her a great deal. So she would essentially do whatever she could to help any of the rest of her friends, go and help her family in any capacity that she could, but at the same time kind of take up his mantle in whatever shape or form that might look like. She's not him by any means. She doesn't have his powers. She has things that are lent to her by him. And eventually I feel like she would try and give them back, but at the same time want to just ensure that things are kept as peaceful as possible. So whether that means kind of assuming that role in a non-official form and just looking out for everybody, that's, as generally as I can put it, all she would be doing.
All right. Excellent. So I think the only thread to finish tying up, if I'm not mistaken, is Gert. When you do go back to where your town was, you would know that like it's still there. It was like in ruin for what, 20 years now, something like that. It is restored. And your Gert's parents are alive and well, and they would have greeted her as if they hadn't seen her in a while, but otherwise as if life has been normal. They wouldn't have really any recollection that catastrophe happened. And it's kind of like your classic Midwest parents, like, come have dinner. Haven't seen you in a while. And everything is good. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for us. Ye fucking haw.
Weird, man.
It is weird. It is
Wild.
weird. Let's have a quick break. And then we're gonna come back and out of character, we're gonna talk about our campaign. We're gonna talk about just general Q&A, what was going on, what ifs, things like that. We're gonna go behind the scenes a bit. We'll be right back. we're back. All right. We are the campaign is officially wrapped. How wild is that?
Weird.
What?
Insane.
It has been almost exactly 4 years.
I mean, like, give or take 2.5 months.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. We had some small hiatuses in there, but still. Yeah, also that give or take like 2 months. This has been wild. We're just gonna talk now as not characters about the campaign and maybe fill in some blanks or question marks and what ifs and coulda, woulda, shouldas and stuff like that. I'm gonna lead off. Haha. With this is the first full campaign that I ever DM'd.
Amazing. Job well done. team.
Thank you.
Yay.
And we played out the full idea. The full idea. What I definitely bit off more than I could chew. That I will wholeheartedly admit that if I could go back and do some things over and or differently, I would. I'm not unhappy with how anything turned out, but if I had the opportunity, I would go back and redo some things. The bit off more than I could chew thing was I had never DM'd a campaign before and I came up with a level 20 homebrew. What?
Oh my
Like,
god.
just fucking wild.
Yeah.
It was something shoot for the moon, right?
Right.
And then we did Princes of the Apocalypse, mostly as written, but with stuff intertwined to extend it. I think as written, it goes up to level 12.
Right. Yeah.
I thought it was either 12 or 16.
I just remember
Yeah.
getting to a
in-
point
Not
where you're like,
20.
That's that.
Yeah.
Yeah, something that's like also when we got there and you were like, "This is the end of Princess of the Apocalypse." We were like, "What? That's
Yep.
the end?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
It didn't make sense where it ended because it was just like, but there's so many
It's
other
just
things
gone.
we could do.
Yeah.
This guy was not as intimidating as he should have been for a big boss, like a big bad boss.
Right, exactly. But yeah, so the as written Princes of the Apocalypse by itself, I really want to say 12, but I'm not going to get hung up on that. Long story short, there was a lot of space to fill to get it to level 20, and then make all that stuff happen at like level 18, 19, 20, and it went well. I'm not unhappy with how it went. But yeah, this started 4 years ago. I was literally in a closet with my setup, not because of like a bad situation or anything. It was just the room that was available was a closet. And everything was very different. So let's talk you guys. What is there anything? God, I should have prepped better for this question, but like, what do you want to talk about? Is there anything you want to know that maybe has been a mystery to you? Is there anything that maybe you would have done differently if you could go back? What do you want to know? Anything, literally anything.
I want to talk about Is and how I know, like, the reason that this whole fucking trajectory changed halfway through. But I would love you to explain what happened because it's like great.
Okay. Do you mean like starting out as a rogue and then choosing I don't want this anymore sort of a thing?
Right. Because my assumption is you like picked a rogue and like liked the idea of rogue, and then my assumption is you got bored, like you were just not in it halfway through, and we're like, what if I did this other thing?
Not necessarily. So, very much like how Logan had Taryn change the, the oh my god, the subclass.
The subclass,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I did with Rogue. I started her off as a thief rogue, which is cool, and it had a lot of really interesting, nuanced positions of playing as a rogue, and I really liked it. She was really fucking powerful, even super low level.
Yeah.
Just amazed at the kind of stuff that she could do. The sneak attack damage was insane.
Yup.
It was so
Yup.
good. Like as soon as that was gone, I was like, man, felt a bit like a one-trick pony after that, but that was just my own perception. But because Tasha's Cauldron of Everything came out and there were new subclasses, there was the Phantom subclass that I just immediately gravitated towards. It was like, how do I make this transition? So I approached Magic and asked him, like, how do I change her subclass? And he came up with the cool idea of her doing a training montage with Renwick with the time stop spell to teach her how to be a phantom rogue, basically.
Sure.
Which was really cool. That's why she looks the way she looks. It has nothing to do with the whole warlock thing. But at the same time that I said I would like to do this, Magic was like, you have an opportunity here. If this interests you, she's being approached like in the back of her mind with a patron for becoming a warlock, if that's something that interests you. I was like, oh, okay. I don't know who that is. Who's doing that? He's like, you wouldn't know. Okay, sure. And then not too soon after that, decided that the kind of route of going towards being a warlock and not being completely multi-class would be a cool route.
Sure.
I was not so much kicking myself at the fact of not having chosen warlock in the first place, but just letting the role play of the scenario kind of guide through how to get there. And that meant if I wanted to get to the cool stuff with this specific subclass of the Undying, that I would have to no longer have rogue levels. So I worked with Magic to ask how to make that happen, and every time we leveled, I would gain a warlock level, but I would actually gain 2 because I would siphon away one of the rogue levels until those were gone. And I only
Sure.
had 5 of them, so it took a while to get there. But eventually, all of that was just gone, and it was in the moment, in media res, feeling like she had no control over it, instead of making a conscious decision to do that. It was, this little back door's been opened and someone snuck in and is just taking your knowledge of all this stuff that's led you to this point in your life away to then insert something else. Which is why I was extremely paranoid that it was someone who was really, really bad at patron.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
made it all the
Yeah.
more cathartic to realize that it wasn't anyone bad. It was someone being like, hey, we need your help in all of the timelines that these things have occurred. This is the only way that it's been resolved. So here you go.
Your role play through all of that was super fun too. Like
Yeah, it was a good time.
I remember you describing several times, especially like in combat, that you would like try to do something that you've done a million times before and then it just doesn't work.
It was like so cool and heartbreaking.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yep. That was good shit.
I really think that if you didn't start as a rogue, I don't know how like how compelled I would be, or like how compelling Iz as a character would have been compared to what she is, because so like for some of these sessions I would go into it and I would be so excited to see how, like, what the fuck was going on with Iz. Like that was like some sessions that was like at the forefront of my mind, and then like all the world ending shit was behind there because I was like, because that was such an interesting thing that was going on. But yeah.
Well, thank you. That's very humbling.
I do want to say, go ahead, go ahead. Go.
Oh, yeah, no, just with the original class and her race, it made sense. I was trying to think of a cool way that a rogue could be like super sneaky. So for her being a changeling, it made sense. I don't have my original notebook with me right now, but I had a list of basically characters that she would turn into with the consent of them, save for one person that did her wrong, that she's just like, I'm gonna take what you look like and you don't get to tell me yes or no.
Very
which made
fuck that guy in
sense for a
particular.
rogue. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
He did something wrong to her family and she took extreme offense to it and was just like, this is the only way that I can get revenge, so I'm gonna make it seem like he's doing even worse shit. So it made sense for a rogue, and then very subtly, well, not very subtly, just very directly, made really no sense for her to utilize it when she like turned into a warlock. That's why she didn't really change into other people unless it was just like a quick gimmick of, oh, do you want to know what you look like in this moment right now, sort of a thing, or we need to go talk to somebody and they need to not see whatever this looks like, sure, I'll change to look like a human. But it was more of a mechanic for a rogue than anything, so why that fell on the back burner, that's kind of why.
Sure.
Yeah.
Nice.
Anyway, continue. Sorry.
No, that's okay. So I like that a lot of like character development and storytelling happened throughout this campaign. It was actually the intended main point.
Excellent.
So before starting this campaign, I was heavily influenced by one book, and then partway through, heavily influenced by another. The first one was The Hero with a Thousand Faces. And then the one partway through, I still have it over here right there, is called it's what is it? Player's Guide to Proactive Role Playing. And kind of the idea that I got from Hero with a Thousand Faces is if you think about it, most of these role-playing games kind of have a similar overarching theme. If we really oversimplify it, is that it's a band of good guys have to go and defeat some evil that has emerged, right? So a lot of the reason that I purposely made the whole Astaroth thing like very behind the scenes. Nobody really knows what's going on except this one guy that's time traveling and trying to gather the right people to fix it, is going against that trope. Like, the evil is not actually well known, and the campaign is therefore more focused on you, the characters, and figuring it out. So we just talked about Iz for a hot minute there. Like, the whole idea of developing character stories throughout it was absolutely the point. And I kind of what do I want to say? I kind of made it like this slightly maniacal recurring theme in the campaign. This recurrence of manifest throughout the campaign was like actually part of the whole thing for Astaroth, but it was like my kind of in-game point out to you guys. The story is what you made it. It wasn't like it's my world and you're just living in it. It was a collective thing for all of us. And
Absolutely what it felt like too.
Yeah, I'm really happy with how it turned out.
It's really interesting to think about where we started and how these characters ended up. I mean, in any campaign, in any roleplay scenario, your characters are going to evolve over time. But to see Taryn go from, I'm here to do a little job and go like meet some clerics over here, and then suddenly become this super incredibly fucking powerful cleric that's just like so wise beyond his years, utilizing any and every bit of magic that he has in order to benefit his friends and the greater populace. I feel like he was already on that path, but this whole campaign set him on that forever. Same thing with everyone else, with Whirl and Gert and Cal. It's just incredible to see the kind of slightly goofy characters that we started with, even just here's a little bit of trauma, and then spreading it out throughout over the entire campaign was brilliant. You all are very good at what you do. I hope you know that.
Agreed.
So are you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Honestly, in terms of like where Taryn ended up being, I was at a point like right before Tasha's was coming out that I was like, I think Taryn, I might see if I can get Taryn to be a bad guy and then switch characters, because the way that I was playing Taryn was he grew up in a place where nobody liked him being around because he was the unlucky one to have like that tiefling blood surface. And I think that either if Twilight Domain hadn't come out, or if he hadn't met Renwick, I was very well like considering like what if he turned because he agrees that this is not a good like like this, like he is not in a good place. The world needs to be remade.
What
So-
about meeting Renwick influenced that? I'm very curious.
So all because Renwick was at least a neutral lich. Terran
Oh,
very
sure.
much. He was like
Oh,
he was very much like like thinking of, he had that instilled knowledge of undead or evil, but he also had the thing of like, well, people say that I'm evil, but I'm very clearly not. So he was on edge during that entire first meeting, and then when it was the handshake thing, and then Renwick showed Terran what was going on, that was kind of like opening the door for that sympathy to start
gotcha.
seeping in.
Guys,
Um,
oh my god. Oh, finish. If you had more to say, go ahead.
I didn't really have anything else to like conclude that. I was just kind of trying to think of something to like cap it off. But yeah, please transition.
I want to talk about Renwick.
So much.
You
It's
guys,
so cool.
seriously,
So much.
you guys made this happen. I'm gonna take credit for how it happened because obviously yes, but you guys made here's Renwick as he's written in Princes of the Apocalypse. He's just a lich hanging out in that the Sacred Stone Monastery. If you happen to find him, it's supposed to be a like basically you fuck around and find out, or fuck off is all it is. Like if you bother him, he kills you because he's a lich and you're like level 6. And even if you like, you're not even meant to find him, he's just there in case you like fully explore the dungeon. And I forget what the catalyst was, but it was something
Because we all
along the
thought
lines.
he was our best friend.
Yeah,
I think
we
that
just
was it.
decided to make him our best friend.
Because he was
Like,
cool.
Yeah, he was this cool guy that was nice to us, and then all of a sudden he had a bunch of information for us.
Exactly. Yep. And then it was in that moment. I didn't even plan it. It was in that moment where you guys were like, "Hey, some shit's going on. Can you help?" That it was like, you know what? Let's run with it. And we had him like summon the armor and go through the dungeon and just fuck everybody up.
Yeah, because he
So
was.
cool.
I want to say he was kind of a grumpy old man when we walked in.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A little bit,
And was it me or Whirl who was like, "Come on,
I think it was both of you.
bud."
You kind of tag teamed that.
we
Yeah.
poked at him until we were like, "Hey, best
Yeah.
friend."
And
yeah.
then
I,
It's a
honestly,
group effort with all of you.
Yeah.
yeah.
It was more of a group effort because I think World was like, nah, there's something fucking wrong with this man.
It
And
was
then,
a combination of that and a very good persuasion check.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
believe that it was one or both of you that did
Yeah.
it, and then it was just like, you know what, fuck it, let's do it.
Yeah.
As written, he does actually have a brother who died, and there's a whole thing with like his body and like the armor that he had and everything. And then that's where Renwick as the Templar was born. The Templar was originally just an actual angel created by originally it was Kellamvor, and then Sam wanted to
Shit.
have cleric of Osiris, and I was like, working together now.
Nice.
The judge of the damned and the god of death, absolutely, let's do this.
Fair.
So that's man, the rest is history. That's where all that came from. But Renwick is just supposed to be some fuck off there if you find him, and inconsequential if you don't kind of person.
Well, and one thing that I loved about the Templar was the fact that we did have that moment at the end with Iz and Gert, right? With, sort of dark and light coming together, not dark, so to speak, but, Warlock and ASMR, like Warlock and Life Cleric coming together and helping him out of whatever that was, right? And we were both so connected to him in so many ways, and I think that connection was really important for both of our characters.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that was a really cool element of that character.
Definitely. To this day, my favorite moment in it, I've been playing D&D for what, 10 years now. Like I said, this is the first full campaign I've DM'd, and as we all know, I'm DMing another one. We are starting another one soon. And I've done like a bunch of one shots with several different groups of people, et cetera, et cetera. To this day, my favorite moment in a D&D game ever is when we saw the birth of the Templar.
It was the dopest shit.
The coolest thing. It was the most cyclical part of storytelling I've ever had the absolute pleasure to be a part of, if not just witness. The coolest fucking payoff.
That was satisfying as fuck. Oh.
And honestly, to go off of that, and towards the end, when he turned on us for that little bit, I feel like that was like
That
the
was
hardest.
terrifying.
That was like the hardest hitting, like against us to reveal that I feel like we experienced.
Yep.
Like that was like I was like shitting myself when he who did he attack? I don't quite remember, but he
Cal.
I think it was
Cal.
Cal. Yeah.
Went for Cal.
he
Yeah.
went for Cal, and I
Shit.
was like, oh no.
That and Adult
Kill him.
Braylon. I think Adult Braylon was the one that got me the worst.
Yes.
Of the
Yeah.
like, just like full bad shit. What is happening?
Yeah, that moment where he looked at Whirl and was like, "Oh, thanks, Wind
Wind
Lady."
Lady.
Lost
Like,
my
That little
mind.
wink.
Yep.
No.
Oh, speaking of Braylon, by the way, so
Oh yeah, what
I
happened
feel
to
like
Adult
I feel
Braylon?
like that's a thing that an actual loose end that never got tied up. So part of the staff, is it the staff of the Archmage?
Yeah.
Yeah. Or was it Staff
so
of Power?
Archmagi.
Oh yeah.
staff of
that
the
one.
Archmagi, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some details in there. You can use charges of it to like basically cancel out spells.
Mm-hmm.
And if you do that and it runs out of charges, then you have a 5% chance. So like roll a d20, pick a number, roll a d20. Of just being blipped out into a different plane of existence. So I changed that in the moment to be, instead of random chance, have the attacker choose. I think, Andrea, I said like mercy or might or something like that.
It was basically, yeah, it was like mercy, or it was basically like death or mercy, and I was like, mercy.
For
So
the good guys, I guess it should be.
Yeah.
yeah, so as written, it's like either the staff explodes or you just blip out into a different plane. And since you chose mercy, I had him just blip out into a different plane, and that's that's it. Yep.
That would be a fun future one shot of finding Braylon. Hey, where did he go?
Yeah. Oh man.
Gosh, Finding Braylon.
Yeah.
Sounds like a
Hallmark movie.
bad
Yeah.
Hallmark movie. Yeah.
Like a painful rom-com.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Finding
Jennifer Jason Leigh
Braylon.
is in Finding Braylon.
Yeah.
Got some like low piano music with some slight jazz in the back.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
There's a bunch of actresses that have only been in soaps.
Jeez.
Former child
man.
actors, you know.
Melissa
No,
Joan Hart is.
It's all the discount versions of stars. So it's all the
Yeah.
people who vaguely look like
Yeah.
stars.
And then also Lacey Chabert, because she like did some like
Yes.
solid actual real movies, and then she's just doing
Yes.
this for like 15 years.
Yes, fact.
She did
Yeah.
Mean Girls, and that was it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Oh man.
Oh my goodness. That's
By the way, Melissa Joan Hart is playing grandmas now. If you
Gross.
didn't,
Gross.
This,
Yeah.
I would like
Yes.
to vomit now.
she's playing grandmas.
Yeah.
No, I refuse.
I think it's just one grandma.
Singular.
Yes, she played a grandma
Denial.
in one movie recently.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Denial.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Welcome back to the state of denial, everybody.
We're out of time.
Jesus.
Oh,
Oh man, I'm curious. Is there anything that any of you guys struggled with playing through this campaign?
Mm,
I've
Notes.
got a whole handful, but I'm curious about you guys.
Taking notes.
Taking notes.
I'm
Alright, fair
the
enough.
worst. Names. Remembering what we did when. Remembering who we met. Because I don't take notes.
that's
Ever.
okay.
That's okay.
Ever.
I do. So we're fine.
Truly, I took notes for maybe the first year, and I took really bad notes for the first year,
Sure.
and then I gave up.
All right, fair
Then
enough.
I just tried to remember shit, and then it just went whoosh.
Yeah.
And then I'd go, "Hey, Andrea," and then I'd just say shit, and y'all would go, "No, Sam, that's not how that went." Oh, okay.
Oh man.
Let's keep you accountable over here.
Yup.
Uh,
Yup.
Oh god, I always think that I can remember stuff. Like there's sometimes where, you know, we're just kind of in the moment. I'm like, I'm gonna remember this next time, no problem. It's only 2 weeks from now, and then completely forget everything that we've done. So I do try and take notes. My other notebook is like nearly full. I think I only had like 10 pages left in this thick ass
Nice.
that's
Uh,
crazy. Oh my goodness.
book. I took some pretty detailed stuff. If anything, to try and fill up that book, I started jotting down every single thing that we did for combat. So I
Yeah,
remember
I remember that.
what we all
Started
did.
doing that.
Yep.
So that's a fun way to stay in the moment of all of it. But that was also why I started doing it, so I could stay in the moment and stop my ADHD brain from getting distracted.
Relatable.
Yeah,
Very.
good shit. I don't think I struggled with anything though.
Mm.
Like nothing about the campaign felt like there was a hurdle to climb. In the game itself, and like the roleplay aspect of it, of trying to puzzle through things, maybe, but that's
Yeah.
just playing the game. There was
Mhm.
nothing mechanical that was confusing, and if we did have questions, then you were always very quick to come up with an answer. So
Yeah.
no concerns whatsoever.
I think I assumed that like the 5 words, the like manifest and everything was going to be some like code we had to crack, and so I got really in it, and it wasn't. So yeah, that was the thing that I was like really into for a while, and then once like the Templar became the Templar, I think that all just kind of went away because we kind of like knew the answer at a certain
Mhm.
point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was a lot less like, I feel like part of it like towards the end, not that it was like harder to not pay attention, but like because there wasn't like new information we needed to find, we knew what the end game was. By a certain point, we were just like, and now we're just trekking towards end game.
Yeah, I will admit that's one thing that if I could go back and do over, I would flesh that out more, because it did become very obvious at one point that you like figured out that like that's done now. I was hoping that it would be more of a nagging thing farther into the campaign, but I mean it's all good that it wasn't. But yeah, that's one thing that I would have done differently is to flesh that out more. But like I said earlier, I treated that as kind of like my DM to player, like poke and run away, like this little nagging recurring thing, just to have my fun with it outside of the actual game.
Yeah. I think there were 2 things that I think I struggled with. The first was the definition of the word conjugal.
Okay, I think I said this, but I'm gonna say it again. I've done the same thing where I was reading a thing that was a DM prompt and I said brazier instead of brazier.
Brazier,
Yep,
yeah.
I remember that one too.
And now I have actually come up with a magical item that is a brazier that you have to fight.
That's
Anyway,
funny, I love that.
Anyway, I didn't mean to
Oh my
hijack your thing.
God.
Luke, you can go ahead.
No, that's okay.
Amazing.
But when we started this campaign, I was like 14, 15,
Yep.
And so I was like, I had no,
Maybe.
I didn't know how to like role play with adults because I was like, I
Sure,
don't want to be weird. I don't want to be annoying. And then by the time that I felt comfortable with everyone, I was like, well, now the character decisions are already made. I don't want to like, I don't want it to be like this weird jump.
Right. You don't want to
character.
all of a
I
sudden
don't
be
want it to
like,
be
dick jokes. You wanna be like, where did those come from?
So I think that was the biggest struggle, but again that was probably I think that was mostly attributed to I was a minor when we started this.
Yeah.
And then yeah, and then it was just a new group and I didn't really know anyone. So
I
think
gotta say
that's-
though, as far as I'm concerned with that, I want to say that you handled it really well and with maturity far beyond your years. And it's been a blast to, you know, play this game with the age range we have is officially an actual range because of you. Sorry, gonna put you on the spot, but
No, it's totally cool. I'm
been
fine.
a fun dynamic.
Yeah.
I love the after stream. Like most people watching don't know this, but sometimes after stream I would just be getting like air quotes lectures about like pieces of pop culture that I didn't like. I had no idea about.
Yup.
Spoon-feeding you
Facts.
pieces, like,
Facts.
please understand where we're coming from with this.
Right.
We promise
Oh,
we're not
man.
ancient
There was
dinosaur
it
girls
End
yet.
of the World where we had to like be
Yeah,
like, all
and
of the
Yes.
pieces.
Yeah. Before YouTube, we remember.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
The origins of
Oh
YouTube.
man,
Jesus, everything
That's
in 480p.
funny.
Yeah.
Holy
I will
It's
say
great.
I did not know how young you were until you said it out loud because and I've
Yes.
said this to other
Yeah.
people. You got younger every time we played.
Yes. Yes.
I remember you saying that because I think you said like you thought I was like maybe 22 when we
Because you were like,
started, and then it
like
Yes.
at first I was like had no concept. Then you said something about like because Taryn couldn't drink yet, or there was like a joke about not being able to
Yes.
drink. So I was like, okay, so less than 20 or like less than 21.
Yeah.
And then you said classes, so I was like, okay, college. And then you said
Yeah.
AP classes, so I was like, okay, a senior in
High
high
school.
school. And then you were learning. You were about to turn 16, and I was like, I'm twice as old as
Yeah.
you.
Andrea and I literally had these conversations. We were
Yep.
like, oh.
I'm old.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we first set it up, I think I actually asked you, Logan, if you were over 13 because technically Twitch TOS, you can't be on Twitch if you're 13 or younger.
I was 14 or 15 when we started, so I was
You're
TOSing.
15.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was wild.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I think that
But,
just
yeah.
continues to speak to your maturity level because none
Totally.
of us could really
Absolutely.
tell. We knew you were
Yeah.
young,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
It
just
was
like,
only in like context clues of what you were saying that I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm glad that I was not unbearable when we started.
Absolutely not. I feel like
No.
if I was, I don't know, 16 and playing this, I would just be.
I would have been a
I-
monster.
You,
No, I
you were a
wouldn't
little
be there.
shy at first, but that is
Yeah.
completely understandable because you didn't know
Yeah.
any of us.
Yeah.
I also didn't know how to balance my actual shyness with Taryn's shyness because Taryn
Sure.
started off as a very shy
Mhm.
character.
hmm
I think that again, I think that just goes back to like where does the role, like how do I role play with new people kind of situation was
Right.
that was my biggest struggle throughout. But
Mhm.
I think
That makes
I
sense.
think we're past that now.
I'd say so.
Well, but the craziest thing is you also had more experience than half the people in this group
Yeah.
because Andrea and I had never played a game.
First
Legitimately.
D&D game.
I forget
This
that
was-
I
I mean,
you
forget
had
that this was your guys' first.
Yeah.
You had at least had a one shot. I walked in and I hadn't set my character up right, so I didn't have any
Yeah.
buzzer weapon.
Well, you and I both didn't do the one shot.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, the
I
one
think
the
I
one
think
shot
that-
was more to like for Sam specifically to be like,
Yeah.
would you enjoy doing this?
Yeah.
Right.
So it was a
Mhm.
whole behind
And
the
I
scenes
was an
thing.
accident. So
Which is wild.
yeah.
No,
Best
literally,
accident ever.
we
Yep.
were. My mother and I were shopping for makeup for my wedding, and Justin texted me saying, "Hey, does your friend still want to do this?" So I am in the middle of Alta going back and forth between the two. Yeah. And that's how that happened.
Yeah.
Yup.
That's amazing.
Yeah, we had a different person who had signed up originally to play and then had to drop out kind of last minute.
Yeah.
And I had originally said no. I didn't know who Andrea was. It was just
Yeah.
Sam's friend that was interested in playing, and I was like, I don't want to do 6 players for my first campaign. So, but then the other person had to drop, and it was like, hey, are they still interested? And now here we fucking are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Yup.
I based my character solely on some friends of mine had like started like making fun of co-star astrology, like, but changed everything instead of your astrological sign to your D&D class. So I fully based her being a bard on the fact that Gemini was supposed to be or I think Leo was supposed to be a bard, and I misread it, but I was like, oh, Geminis are bards, I'm gonna be a bard. She's an air sign. She's going to be an air genasi. Absolutely. I pulled it out of a fucking.
I don't know
out of
about
nowhere and
Geminis,
was
but
like, "That
Andrea
works."
is 100% a bard.
What?
Yes.
IRL.
But yeah, that was. I literally pulled it out of a chart and I was like, "That's going to be my character," because I don't have the brain to like actually math a real like to learn all the things and do a math. So I was like, "That feels right."
Yeah. And
Now we're all here.
now she has hyperfixated all of D&D and in the last 4 years.
Yeah.
That's been a
I don't have
really
8
cool
potential
thing to
characters
see.
for the next campaign.
Yeah.
What are you talking about?
The
Truly.
TTRP agenda.
Yeah.
That's been an interesting thing for me to watch, is Andrea going from, again, knowing nothing about any of this to immediately being like, I'm going to consume all of the information I can about everything because I want to know what all of this is.
I mean, it was also 2020 and I was going through a breakup, so I was like, a lot of me getting into Critical Role, for example, of like a thing to just wash you over with how D&D works was I need something to fill literally all of my time because I don't have anything else happening, and now the like stable person around isn't there. So I was just like, and this, and then I kept finding other shows, and then it's really easy to accidentally learn D&D watching someone else play D&D.
Yeah.
There's such a rhythm to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I like playing in person because I like rolling the dice and then doing actual math, and I realize I am a crazy person for that.
There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
I like to math all of the math.
Yeah, I would also be doing that if I had like the space and like a box for like a dice box that was like effective. Because sometimes my like the extension can be all goofy and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I totally get that.
A shit ton of dice that just sits in a bag. It is dice goblin hoarding tactics. It's just it's literally the Laura Bailey's dice bag of holding. That's
nice.
full of dice.
I'm looking for it. I have like a massive sack of dice. Where is it?
Nice.
Mine is I found a glass thing on Etsy that's like, had you filled in the like last 5 would have been a 20-sided glass like terrarium that's where all my dice
Ooh.
live.
Nice.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah, it's a dice
remember
holding
that.
my dice.
Then you know where your dice are because it's just like it's in the sheet.
It's just one giant dice. Yeah.
I guess I have a question to both Andrea and Sam, as this now being your first full campaign. I don't know if it's the same for everyone else. It's the first long-term campaign I've completed. I've been in like smaller series that have lasted like 10 sessions and you know, started and finished, but this is the first full-length thing. From people who hadn't really played before, how do you think you as a player have evolved in that time?
Damn, Ash coming out here with the
That's a
good
great
questions.
question.
The good ones.
This is what I do for my volunteer job anyway, so like this is I live for this shit.
Nice.
Sure.
Hell yeah.
I definitely became obviously more chaotic.
Yeah.
Touch the button.
Oh my god.
Right, though, yeah.
Yep.
But I, yeah, I feel like I had a very limited backstory. And so, my character was, when I started, I think she was very one note. And as I progressed, even though my backstory never really evolved per se, more of Sam came through in Gert, and so that kind of evolved her play,
Mhm.
And once Claudius came into the picture, that just,
Yeah, game over.
yeah,
was
that
it.
was game over. Claudius is the best baby.
So early too. That was the
I
very
know.
first like cult that we found, right? Was the,
I
Mhm.
know.
The airport,
Yeah.
yeah.
girl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where Cal did that sick ass, I drop him.
Yeah.
No.
Fuck.
Ooh, I'm gonna come back to that after Andrea also answers Ash's question.
I think I actually did kind of the opposite of what Sam did. I started with a very limited backstory, just fully not, one, having like a week to prepare it, and two, not knowing like the scope of what D&D could be.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was the like second session maybe when we were like talking to the constable, and the constable's like, hey, there were like two clerics were supposed to show up, but only one of them did. Logan, or sorry, Taryn, this one's your back. Like, this is the guy in your backstory. And I was like, oh, we can do that. And then fully rewrote my backstory and added a whole bunch of different people and like other stuff she had done and why she was doing this. And I think playing Whirl, I became like not less myself, but like when I started it, I was just doing an Andrea, and then I started finding things that I liked that I would do as Whirl, and then just heighten, like that I do as Andrea that felt more Whirl and would heighten them. Like when she asks questions and they become really high at the end, like I don't do that, really. And like little like ticky things I started doing more towards the end of like kind of trying to separate her from me. A little more sing-song in her voice, that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like other characters that I've started, I like try and point towards like more of a personality shot or like a thing about them and circle in on that, as opposed to just like I played Whirl was Andrea because I'd never done this before.
It also helped me know what I want to do more for other characters.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And so like when I created a character for a campaign I did with Joe, I had more of a backstory, but also I had a voice. I love Trish. I miss Trish. But I had a voice. I'm gonna have a voice for the campaign we're doing, the next campaign we're doing with Juice, like that I think will help me break that I'm just Sam with a different name.
Right.
Right.
Sure.
So yeah, I think that is also like finding things that will help me switch into that character.
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha.
Nice.
It's all about finding that bit of immersion that keeps you in it.
Mhm.
You
Fair.
know, I struggled with that with D&D for a really long time. And it wasn't until I got into roleplay in other aspects, in my cowboy paper doll addiction.
Yeah.
That's where I learned how to live within the immersion of whatever you're trying to tell, because you have to. It's within the
Fair.
bounds of the rules of how that works, but then at the same time, it's like, why would I do anything different? Starting off with not having a specific voice made it hard to separate myself between the two, so I completely understand wanting to have a character that has a voice. It is so important to do that, to be able to separate yourself from the character with that. But one thing I did want to touch on with the both of you is observing from the start to now, even just as brand new characters into, or not characters, but just players in D&D, it's always a really fascinating thing to see how people push the bounds of how the game works, because D&D as a whole has a lot of mechanics and a lot of rules built into it so that you know exactly how to play, and veteran players will fall into the realm of sticking within those rules a little bit easier and maybe feeling a little bit like they're like on a bit of a tether, on a bit of a leash, because they're trying to stick within that. But new players don't know how to do that in a good way. You just are like, I'm gonna do this, you know, there's no mechanic based around it, but it's like, I have something that I want to do and I'm gonna help like figure out how we can accomplish that. That is extremely inspiring. So the both of you doing that and keeping that same sort of energy throughout the campaign, I know has helped me a lot. So please keep doing that because it's really, really good.
Agreed.
I think
I
going
will
off
because
of
I still don't know most of the mechanics.
Oh my goodness.
That's okay. That's my job anyway.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, kind of going off of that statement as well. I think Juice, I think that you were also really helpful in like helping figure out what those things were, of like what we could do if something wasn't like explicitly mechanically possible. I think having you as a DM was really helpful in terms of like that character creativity.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, like I said, a big part of this was I knew going into it, even though I was a new GM at the time, that I wanted it to be more of a campaign about the characters than, like, we all know that there's gonna be a big thing to fight at the end. Okay, I didn't want the campaign to be so exhaustingly focused on that. I thought it would be more fun to be more focused on the characters. And like I said, you guys came up with a lot of the ideas for the things that happened. Like my whole little poke at you was manifest. You guys came up with half the shit we did. Braylon turning evil, that's where adult Braylon came from. That was one of your ideas.
I was sure he was going to be evil.
Yep. What else? The Renwick becoming the Templar was born of you guys just deciding that you were not going to leave him alone, and then also having good intentions and a good persuasion check. But that was born from your guys' ideas. I'm having trouble coming up with more off the top of my head, but like seriously, a lot of the stuff that ended up happening was because off the cuff one of you said something, and then I was like, noted, bet, and it became a thing like in the next session or soon after. Oh yes, Cal dropping what's his nuts off of the top of Feathergale Spire.
Thurl. Something like
Thurl, yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, Thurl. I had struggled with figuring out how to tie, like, how do we weave in the homebrew thing that goes to level 20 in with Princes of the Apocalypse. Like, I had kind of vague ideas at first, but then it was just like, you know what, I'm probably just gonna have to figure it out as we go. Cal dropping this dude off the tower was like an aha for that. The Revenant is one of my favorite creatures in D&D.
So good. I love the Revenant.
Yes,
so much.
because it is one of the very few that can. It's really like a template. Like it can be its own standalone thing as it's written, but it's really a template. The story behind a Revenant is it's a creature that's like. It's so filled with hatred and remorse and just like bad feelings. It's like the Darth Maul of D&D. They literally just come back from the dead with a vengeance. Their entire purpose is vengeance. So, but it's also an undead creature, and obviously this campaign, like the whole thing was undead or undead related things. So Cal deciding to just kill this dude in kind of cold blood was like, oh, bring him back as a revenant, and then he like hunted you down into, was it the air temple?
It was in Red Larch, I think.
Um,
I don't remember.
I think there was a hint
no,
of it
it
in Red
was-
Larch, but
It's a
you
couple
did
years ago.
actually fight him in the air, not the temple with Eracy, was that her name?
Reese, yeah.
Yeah.
Elena.
Yeah.
But the
My
level before
nemesis.
that, basically, yeah, the level before that, and then that like opened the doors for all the undead stuff to happen. So, Joe, I don't know if that was like a planned thing or just a spur of the moment decision to just drop him, but I gotta say that was a catalyst.
Pretty dope.
Yeah, I was just being dramatic.
It was good drama. It was really good drama.
It was. The fight right before that too was fun though.
Oh, yeah.
This
The hippogriffs
campaign.
and the...
Yeah, we've had a lot of unique encounters as far as at least my experience in D&D goes over the last few years. Having a full aerial fight, like riding hippogriffs and giant eagles in a fight in the air like that against the chimeras was definitely a highlight.
Yeah.
I think being that high up and at how low of a level we were at also like kind of raised the stakes too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because I was so afraid of falling off in that fight. I was like, I'll get hit. I don't care. I just don't want
Yeah.
to fall off.
Just
of it.
hang on.
Nah, I was like a teenage gymnast at that point where it's like, you can't tell me anything. My body's still goo. I can still bounce back from this.
Yeah.
Okay, but can we also discuss how often the hey, we're a circus, let
Oh
us
my
in
God.
actually fucking worked?
I mean,
How often? And the tiny hats on the hippogriffs. How often
so
that
good.
actually fucking worked?
I mean, that's.
I don't think it ever didn't work.
it never didn't work.
It never
No,
did
the-
work.
Yeah.
The
It was
persuasion
100.
and performance checks were always in your favor.
I just,
Yep.
And
What?
and looking back, like I still to this day, I don't think that I set the DCs too low for it. It was constantly like 15 or higher,
Right.
and you
Yeah, no.
always beat it.
But it was literally like, I think the second we hit third level and like that eloquence bard shit, there was,
yeah.
I think it was, there was some like podcast where someone was like talking about all the stuff from Tasha's. He's like, I will never let anyone in my campaigns be an eloquence bard or a twilight cleric. And I was like, we got both, baby.
Yeah.
Both of them.
Because it's like unbeatable of like getting through persuasion and deception checks. And then we also had Iz who could change into anything. So like, but we were like 1-2 punch of like, we can pretend we are anyone.
Mm-hmm.
And then also like when we came in the first time as like the full circ, I think it was the second one, maybe into the fire cult. It didn't quite work for the fire cult. They like let us be around, but they didn't love it. But also like that was when we're like Taryn punched this a hole through the drum.
Yeah. And then I like turned it over and was like, it works. It still
Yeah.
works.
And
Jesus.
just like,
But for real though, I mean,
Yeah.
you went for it. It worked.
yeah.
I think it's at least in part a testament to how wackadoo D&D can be sometimes, and then just everybody's creativity at the table at the same time. But I absolutely try my best to not say no. I say no when it's like black and white. No, that doesn't work. Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Everything else is like, is there a crack, even the tiniest crack in how I'm thinking that could work, and you found it? Absolutely. So there's at least as written for the Prince's campaign, there's nothing in like the DM instructions that says like they can't, like you have to fight your way through this.
Yeah.
So
there's nothing in the rules that says a dog can't play basketball.
exactly. So I mean, the opportunity was there. I just followed the parameters of set a DC and see what they can do, and it
No,
just
you-
happened to work out.
You've created a monster.
Oh,
I am
I'm
always
down.
going to suggest circus. I'm
Yeah.
always going to suggest we are entertainers for a party.
It'll be fun to play through then.
Yeah.
The fact
It was-
the fact that Oops, sorry.
Oh no, it worked the first time when they were like, well, we're already having a party, and we're like, wow, what a crazy random happenstance, and then like it kept working.
That's,
Yep.
that's what
We're-
I was gonna say too. It was like the first time we tried it, there literally was a party.
There was a
going on.
party. Yeah.
Which one was it again? The fire?
The
air.
water. It was the
air
water one.
first.
We literally said
it
three
was air
different things.
first.
Oh
was
yeah,
air
that's right.
first.
Because
It was air
water
first.
was
We
with
didn't
Jolly.
we didn't have the hippogriffs at that point.
Right.
So it was
They
just
were there.
us.
Oh yeah,
That's
you
right.
went in saying
Yeah.
like you were the entertainment for the party.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they
Yeah.
were like,
Picked up for the
great,
night.
you guys showed up because obviously our entertainment was late, and we were
Yeah.
like, cool, I guess we have to learn their customs now.
Yeah.
But then once we got the hippogriffs and they started traveling with us,
Yeah.
Mhm.
then we started creating costumes for the hippogriffs.
And we get them tiny hats.
Hats.
Like they had tiny hats.
Yeah.
You guys ended up fully skipping at least 2 full ass dungeons because
we,
of
like,
those shenanigans.
Yeah, we were like speed running.
Well,
like,
and there
fully
was
skipped them.
one that was like a wedding. Like we walked in early. It was too early.
That one wasn't
Uh,
a
It was a gnome.
like-
Oh yeah, that was like a little as written full side quest thing, like inconsequential.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
Copy
was
that.
honestly, that was the worst session I've ever had because
Right.
I was fully not prepared for any of that at all. Like I had to
Oh.
go find the map and shit and like pull up the
Oh,
stuff. I was
no.
full panic mode for the entire thing.
that one,
It
I
worked
feel
out.
like it was one of those weird ones where it was like there was a wedding, and then they're like, oh no, they're gonna be afraid of us, and then they ran out, and then like one of them was like had been like flung off of a bridge and was dead, and we were like,
And
we
was
need to leave now.
Yeah, we are out,
Yeah, we
mud.
fucked off so quickly.
Yeah.
We really did.
Yeah, I mean, I'm glad it worked out, but I will fully admit that is the worst day of D&D I've ever had. Just because true, I remember this. You were flying. You were on the hippogriffs flying, and I was just describing the horizon to you, and you were like,
Mhm.
"Oh, that mountain sounded interesting. Let's go there." And I was like, "Wait, no."
Not that mountain.
Yeah.
One of the other mountains.
Not like that.
If that was the worst session, I think that we've done pretty good then in terms
Yeah.
of like
Yeah.
not
Couldn't even tell.
derailing.
Yeah.
Oh man, talk about flying by the seat of your pants. That was, and I say it was the worst session I've ever had because I didn't want it to be bad for you guys because I was
Sure.
unprepared. So it was more of a me problem than anything else.
Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The wonderful world of improv and trying to
Yup.
come up with
Yeah.
shit like out of nowhere. Like, hang on, give me 5 minutes. We're gonna take a quick break, and I'm gonna figure this the fuck
Yeah,
out.
like I was desperately like trying to feed you guys something to like just start discussing amongst yourselves so I could take
Fair.
2.5 minutes to like read what's next. Oh man, that was a time.
That is
One thing that I almost wish we would have been able to do is have more opportunities to get money ourselves.
Mm.
Mhm.
And maybe have just like and part of this is on us because we felt like it was such a like pressed for time thing.
Yeah.
Just having like more downtime to like do shit, right? Like have jobs at the
don't-
you know
I don't mean to bring this up again, but we literally spent an entire session creating Cold Stone Creamery. Like
sure.
Yeah,
the
and we
whole
also spent-
entire session was done.
But that was
Yeah.
that was what an evening,
Right.
Yeah.
right? Like I'm
Yes.
saying, like in the grand scheme of
Yeah.
like the timeline, we as characters were doing this over.
I think math wise, like less than 2 months.
We
From,
went
like start
from
to end,
so
2 months.
weird.
we
Yeah.
went
Yeah.
from we have little to no powers to gods in 2 months. You know what I mean? And so like that I almost wish we would have had like more time montages
Sure.
Sure.
Oh.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I wonder if that was also just a part of like the nature of this campaign specifically.
Sure.
Yeah.
It
But yeah,
was
Sure.
it was difficult to figure out, and that is one other thing that, like, if I could go back and flesh it out more, I would. I basically just kind of came up with I'm gonna call it an excuse that the whole campaign is based around time is fucky. So you're just growing and getting more powerful faster than would be normal.
That's fair.
It's bullshit. is the moral of the story here. That was my bullshit excuse for why that is a thing. I would go back and flesh it out more if I could. Yeah.
That's okay.
Yeah. No. That's just, again, that
Yeah.
was just a thing that I was thinking about.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I will say, I think part of the reason we had no money was because we did speedrun all of those cults. Like, there was
That
a
was
lot
a
of
big
shit
part of
probably
it.
stashed down there that we did not get to
Yep.
because we were just like, and go.
Mhm.
We have convinced them we are supposed to be here, and thus we don't need to see any of these rooms.
Yep. That was a catalyst for doing other creative things, like giving you that full bag of gold and sending you to
Yeah.
Uh,
Here's 2 million gold. do
city
whatever the
city
fuck
of
you want.
brass for a shopping spree. Like, there's just a ton of money and items that you completely full ass blew past. So
Oh, jeez.
that was a fun shopping session though. That whole atmosphere
Yeah.
and everything was really
yeah,
fun.
that was a good time.
Sick.
It was fun to spend like 175,000
I-
gold in a sitting.
I-
And then it's just like you waved your hand over the top of a pile, like hardly anything was going
Yeah.
on.
know.
Seriously though, I felt like I was the only one who bought anything that day. I was just like, give me all the things.
I got like a $70,000 tattoo. Like, we
Yeah.
got things.
So
That-
did I.
And I had to be in the chair for the entire day because I was getting a full body tattoo.
Yeah.
Oh man,
Jeez.
that was a fun time. Throwing Mordenkainen in there too.
I was,
Was-
the entire when you described him, I was like, this motherfucker. I can't say it, but I know exactly who that is.
Yeah.
Remember doing one
Especially
of these, like,
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
Especially
totally
since you
should
had
have
the
gotten to go-
book.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally should have gotten to go get my tomophos and just like held it up to the camera. And... oh my
Oh
goodness.
my goodness.
That was good. Yeah.
I did have one other question, and this is for everybody. Even you, Magic, because you Jaegered so many different NPCs and baddies. But for how you guys built your characters, was there anything that they were ever capable of doing that you never got the chance to do? Because there's one
Ooh.
thing I always wanted to do on as soon as I got to this one level in Warlock, I was like, I'm ready for this shit to happen, and then nothing ever came of it, but that's okay, because it was entirely circumstantial. She had a thing where it kind of paired together where if she saved on a death saving throw, then she would just
Yeah.
immediately pop back up with a certain amount of health. She could also do spare the dying with it, but also if she ever had any limbs cut off, she could just reattach them. Just
Oh,
completely fine.
shit.
Oh, that would be
Yeah.
so cool.
Nice.
I would like to go
was waiting
last for this
something,
question.
dude. Okay, that's totally fine. What about you guys?
I can go. There was a lot. World had a lot of warlock spells that I almost never used because
Same.
of the nature of how Juice set up the warlock spell, like the multi-classing to use the highest available spell slots. So I, as a conservative player, would never want to cast like a 7th, or I didn't want to shunt off my 7th level just in case to do a burning hands on someone.
Mm-hmm.
So there were quite a few of those. I did get that feeble mind in last minute, which was pretty dope.
That was so cool.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Oh my
Can't believe
God.
that fucking worked.
I know.
I described that to my partner, and they were laughing so hard when I told them that we feeble-minded and blinded Dracolich and just started kicking the shit out of it.
So good.
It would have been cool to use the beads of force, but I didn't even know how to use them, so I was like,
Yeah.
"Mm." And I think that's about it because I touched everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I had a lot of warlock spells that I didn't touch because I only had so many spell slots.
Mhm.
They're all kind of, I don't know. They only would have worked in certain situations. I always tried to, when I was picking her spells, try to keep them around necrotic damage or like darkness and cool, creepy shadow shit. So I had
Sure.
a lot of that. Well, hi. Thank you. But yeah, I didn't get a chance to use a lot of them, but I'm also kind of okay with that. I was waiting. I think I was the next turn to in the final battle, and I was gonna use power word kill. I had that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Hell
nice.
yeah.
Nice.
That's
Yeah.
that would have been so good. Oh my god.
How does your
I
own medicine
loved-
taste, motherfucker?
Exactly. Yep.
But the way that Cal took him down, oh my god, that was also extremely poetic. It was like, oh, he's okay. All right, I'm just gonna kill him. That's fine. This isn't even a battle. Oh, disappointing, but kind of beautiful at the same time.
Yeah.
Very Cal-esque.
That was so
Um,
good.
I didn't get to use a lot of my ouchie spells.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because you know, yeah, like, but also a lot of my ouchie spells didn't hit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
that's the hard part.
But there was one that I wanted to use, but I never found the right time to use it. And also, like, it's good, but it's a it'll last a while kind of situation. It's
Which one was it?
Contagion.
Oh,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had Contagion, and like, it's good, but it's not one of those that like is necessarily good for immediate
Right.
stuff.
That it
Yeah.
would be like
Yeah.
It fucks him up for 7 days.
Yeah.
So yeah. But also, like, I had Blade Barrier. I had
My barrier's dope.
I had
I had Blade Barrier too.
Firestorm. I had Sunburst. Like, I had all of these big spells that I just never used because I was using my heal because I was able to fully heal, you know?
Mhm.
Mhm.
You know, I'd rather do that than probably miss. Cause
Right.
God knows I did that a lot.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah, I think
Oh.
the one thing I wish I could have done was succeed on more divine interventions. Or no.
no.
No, genuine.
Hard.
Jeez. I told.
No,
I don't know if Corn Dog's still watching, but she was so angry when I told her about how many divine interventions you've gotten.
Yeah.
Oh no. I'm sorry, Corn Dog.
Spoiled over here.
what was it, like
but-
3 for 4 or something
It was,
like that?
it was either,
it was
I didn't
2.
get 1, but I think it was
Yeah.
2 for 3.
Yeah. Jesus.
God, that
Um,
first one was like the most shocked I think any of us have ever been at the exact same time.
I was like, I got this new ability. We'll try it out. 3.
Yeah. Yeah, like the speed of all of us at the exact same time going is
Yep.
incredible.
But genuinely, I don't think that there was anything that I feel like I didn't get to use. I really liked that there was a fire giant in that one temple right after I found Biggest Bonkus, because it does extra damage to giants.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, I'm surprised that I got to use that feature. But I think the closest thing that I felt to that was my channel divinity has so many features that I feel like there were a couple times where I didn't like use all of them or like keep track of all of them consistently, because like everybody gets half cover and I can choose to give them temporary HP, and it's considered dim light. Like there are 3 like different conditions that I have to keep track of while I have that active.
Yeah.
So I feel like I just wasn't managing that effectively. And that could have led to a couple like hits that might have gotten missed, or that might have missed if I was like, actually, you have half cover. But yeah, I don't think that there was anything that I fully feel like I missed out on using.
Yeah, I think in my case, it's I think I have figured out a way to fix this, and generally just better know and understand creatures and stat blocks and making them happen in real time. But there, literally every big fight, including the final one, there's so much stuff that I missed, and just like legendary actions alone. Like you fought 2 liches and a fucking Dracolich. What is the like highest level dragon? I forget.
Like CR 25, I think.
Like yeah, the
Great Worm.
Great Worm. That's it.
Yeah.
3 creatures with 3 legendary actions each. That's a lot of stuff.
Sure.
In a single round of combat, but so I struggled with, like, part of it was I really don't want to bog combat down with all this extra shit everybody can do, but also like this is supposed to be a deadly encounter. Use all the stuff. But if I'm being completely honest, in most cases it was just because I was trying to do too many things at once that I just missed so many things. So I mean, the actual princes that you fought, I missed a ton of stuff that they could do. The final encounter, missed a ton of stuff that they could do. They still ended up being like good and fun encounters, but I think that's it. I'm actually turning it into one of the biggest takeaways I'm going to have going into the next campaign and continuing with the other one I'm running. And from here on out, I really will have a more intentionally focused effort in like studying what can these guys do.
Sure.
So that you can kill us better.
So I can kill you better. Really though, for me, it's less about like get the mechanics right. I know it might be coming across like that. For me, it's more about get the mechanics right to make the theme of the bad guy better.
Sure.
For me, it's much more about the story. So really extrapolating the potency of the abilities that every bad guy has is going to make the storytelling even better. So it's going to be a big focus.
Yeah. And also, as a DM who's also just finished a 20 level campaign of my own, I can like also attest to the fact that it is so hard. It is so hard to plan higher level encounters and like let your villains do cool shit while also not murdering everybody at the same time. Like that is a very hard line to walk, and I think you did it really well. Like I was on like a good amount of edge for that final fight.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you handled it well already, so I'm excited to see how you make it better in the next one.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. The next one is going to be much more I guess, for lack of a better way of putting it, by the book. This one, you know, part of the reason I missed stuff is because there was so much homebrew, and like I said, I was more focused on like the story and the atmosphere and the theme rather than mechanics. I gotta say though, it was a blast coming up with those fights. Obviously, at least 2 of you know that a lot of this endgame stuff was heavily influenced by Destiny raids. But those encounters were my
so good.
they were my favorite because it wasn't just go beat the bad guy's face in.
Sure.
It was like doing other mechanics to like potentially help you. So the Tharizdun fight, where it wasn't even a fight, you just had to make it through the maze, or not the maze, just make it through kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the other fights with Orcus and the final one, especially with like the plates and like atmosphere things to do around you that would influence the fight, was I'm gonna miss that by going more by the book with the next one. But
I mean, you could probably still
really-
put stuff in.
I mean, I
Yeah.
could.
I don't know your
feel
life.
like I feel like you'll get there and you'll be like, this would be so much better if, and then you'll change it. I feel like that's how it'll end up going.
Maybe it's not off the table, but and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit when we have our actual session 0. But one thing I did want to do going into this next one is to like I said, not miss anything by overcomplicating it and
Sure.
just really make what's there very potent rather than spreading everything super thin.
Go deep, not wide.
Exactly. So, but yeah, well, I mean, jump off that bridge when we get to it, right? Jesus Christ.
Thank you guys.
Beep, beep, beep. Oh my gosh.
Oh my goodness.
Hey
Anyway.
guys, we just got banned. What the heck?
We didn't say anything.
It's heavily implied.
Yup. Anyway, we do have a little bit more time. Is there anything else specific that anybody wanted to talk about, ask, discuss?
I can't think of anything else.
I'll throw one more out there in case anybody wants more time to think about it. So one of the, if not the chief complaint in the D&D community, as I understand it, about Princes of the Apocalypse is that it feels like the same adventure 4 times over.
I see.
You got the Haunted Keep, you've got the temple underneath, and then you've got the I
Third
forget
one.
what it's called. The third one, the lowest level with the actual like prince of the plane of insert element here.
Right.
Mhm.
And I kind of went into this taking that as like a personal challenge, because I came into this like I used to be really good at acting and role playing, and I kind of fell off. So I want to use D&D as an opportunity to start getting back into it. So I was like, okay, it's four different cults with the same level 1, level 2, level 3.
Mm-hmm.
Let's make personality unique between them. And I think after actually playing through it, I think that the reason, or at least a main reason for that being a chief complaint among the community, is because probably people haven't been creative enough with making each cult unique. So I want your honest opinion. This is not me fishing for pats on the back, because I absolutely know that I would do it differently again if I the next time I DM Princes of the Apocalypse, it's going to be different. How did you feel about the 4 cults and their respective dungeons, and did they feel unique to you, or do you have a similar experience where it kind of felt like the same thing 4 times over?
I mean, they felt different to me. I think one of the things that helped was because you create more of an atmosphere with music, like your choice of music really helps what the vibe
okay.
is going to be at a time. And I'm sure not everybody does that. I think that helped a lot in like making them all feel different. But I would argue not like about you or about how we played it or anything, but I wonder if the design of those cults being similar is why we felt so rushed to have to complete everything.
Ooh, okay.
Of like, we knew there was we knew there was a level 2, we knew there was a level 3. And so we were like, cool, let's clear all these guys out. And then as soon as we finished all of the level 3s, it was like, oh, now the bad guy's here. And we have to like really, now he's fucking shit up and we need to finish this now.
Okay. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, everybody else, but that kind of felt like why we were going through it so fast.
sure. But also, we didn't go through 1, 2, 3 of everything.
We kind of went.
We went
one,
1, 2,
Yeah.
1, 2. Oh, there's a 3. Oh shit, we
Yeah.
got a.
We have to go to the other 3.
Oh shit! Oh look, we're in a boat now.
Right, but once we kind of figured out, okay, there's 4 guys, like we've got wind, fire,
Yeah.
rain, water, and
Earth,
heart, or whatever.
water.
Like once we figured those out, and then we got through deep enough into one of them, we all kind of did that mental math of, well, obviously this is going to connect in the next ones, and we got to the bottom and went, well, obviously
Sure.
this is going to. So like, I feel like we pretty early on figured out we have to finish all of this, and I think that's why we maybe like why it felt like we needed to finish it all like immediately. Like we had like a week and a day of downtime because we didn't allow ourselves any downtime.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
We allowed ourselves one night to get drunk, and then we allowed ourselves 7 days of downtime because that's how long the court was fucking guys off for us.
Right. Yeah.
And I would blame that on the design of the temples.
Sure.
Not you.
Yeah.
I think that I feel like if you look at it like if you look at our game, it is, if you look at it at a surface level, it is a very like quote unquote repetitive experience of us going in and clearing everything out. But I feel like the character that the NPCs within those temples had made them feel a lot different. Like I think that the jovialness of the wind keep at first with Thurl and like them offering us a position there, compared to the fire guys who were just kind of like, ew, why are you here?
Right.
Yep.
And then the monks at the stone place just attacking us off the bat, and then finally having Jolly in the water keep. I feel like having all of those, at least for me, kind of like that is what pulled me to like that kept it different. It kept because I was interacting with different things.
Okay.
But I feel like if there wasn't as much of that, and if the role play was not as effective, or like I didn't enjoy it as much, I could very easily see like, yeah, this is pretty repetitive. But I did enjoy it because of those characters and the events that were within the keeps.
Nice.
It did feel like as soon as we figured out that it's like a multi-tier system for all of these, it became apparent that once we started we couldn't stop, because that might effectively put the power balance into the hands of any of the rest of them. Like, we take down the air cult and suddenly the fire cult catches wind of it, pun intended. And they're like, oh, well, that's more territory for us to gain and more people to establish a line to us, because I think they were the next closest one.
I think so.
It was just like, oh, we need to take care of these right now. It never felt like a chore. It never felt like it was just a repetitive thing, because of the way that you made it seem so segmented in a way that it made sense for those groups. It was always something to look forward to as well, because it was that multi-tiered thing of, here's the entry into the public perception of this cult, here's how the underbelly is working, and here's like the really deep down how it's actually affecting the entire world.
Right.
So when we did get down to that third level of, here is the prince of this very specific cult, it had a lot of weight to it, which further tipped the scales of, we really need to expedite getting rid of these guys.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Also,
Didn't we fully bypass level 2 of the air cult?
2 of them.
We fully bypassed level 2 of the fire cult because we like got Bastion immediately, and he was like, just take the elevator all the way down.
That's the one that I was thinking of. So
Yeah.
what was the other one that we bypassed?
You also basically bypassed the air cult because Whirl convinced people that she was Arisi Kalanoth.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
And by convinced, I mean you asked me a question, and I went, yes.
Right.
Yep.
And that was all that happened.
it's so fun.
Wild.
Absolutely wild.
Wild.
Good
Well, I also
shit.
feel like the motivations, because the motivations of each cult felt different. Like specifically the like air cult and the fire cult. Like with the fire cult, because we knew they had the bombs. They had the like orbs. I feel like the mission on that one felt different, especially as soon as we saw them try to take one of the orbs out. And the air cult felt different because at that point we knew that they had brine, so like the motivation felt very different than just we need to clear these guys out.
Sure. Okay.
Mm.
Nice.
I'd like
least
to
for me.
further, yeah, and to like further like specifically answer your question about like the repetitiveness of like the dungeon itself. I feel like that is just kind of a flaw of the concept of a pre-written adventure, because a lot of what you did incorporated our character backstories into it, and typically running a pre-written adventure is like this is so that you don't have to do the like a whole lot of extra world building. You have a setting and then you have quest prompts and stuff and things like that.
Sure.
And I feel like that could be a misconception that some people run this with, is that like it doesn't need any work because the adventure is done, or like it's there, I just have to run it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
I feel like you being able to like, especially with having brine in the water, or was it the water temple or was it
We
the air
thought
temple?
he was going to be in the water cult because
was
he's
in
a
the
water
air.
genie, but he was in the air cult.
He was in the air cult.
Mhm.
But yeah, so having him in there and then having you fleshing out Renwick to make the stone keep feel different. I feel like that is the work that, or like the extra curricular air quotes work that it would take to modify this pre-written is what it takes to make it not feel repetitive. It's like it's what's
Okay.
not in the book that you would
Right.
have to add, because typically from a couple of the stories that I've read, it is very, or not stories, a couple of the modules that I've read, a lot of them are similar. It's not, realistically they're not all too different from one another. It's just how you run the game and what you add to it for your players that makes it less repetitive.
Gotcha. That makes sense. All right. Well, we're just about at time, guys. Is there any more final thoughts, questions, discussion?
I'll never
Had a
get
good
over
time.
Renwick being dope as fuck, but also yes,
Yeah.
very good time. Oh my god.
I know I've told at least a couple of you this, but for the world to know, this is partially an accountability thing for myself because I'm a chicken. But I am seeking out. I'm working on researching a couple people, but I'm seeking out a tattoo artist. I really want to get a half sleeve of Renwick, both forms of Renwick, like together.
Yeah.
That
To
would be
like
rad.
completely immortalize that, because it's like my favorite story ever. So want to make that happen.
Nice.
That'll be so cool.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right. That is gonna wrap us up for Tenements of the Great Rift.
What?
It's
Weird.
been a wild ride, guys. It's a kitty.
Rufio.
6 ADHD brains go into a Zoom
Immediately.
call.
Immediately turning his face away from camera, like, no.
Nah.
I'm better than this.
Oh, Rufio.
No, thank you. No, thank you. No cameras, please.
Joke's on you. This was my wish.
Nice. Yeah,
He's
Tenements
trying
of
to
the
hide
Great
from the
Rift is
paparazzi.
we're officially closed.
Happy.
A lot of us are going to be back in a few minutes, probably about 15-20 minutes, for our official session 0. Oh, Carla.
Hi,
Carla also said
Love.
goodbye.
Session 0 of the next campaign is coming in a few minutes, and we're going to talk in detail about it. But for those of you who are just finding out for the first time, the part of the deal for this campaign is I'm not telling you what campaign it is.
That's
So
sick.
it's gonna be fun.
Secret.
I'm so excited.
So yeah, stick around. We'll be back online in about 15-20 minutes. But for Tenements, adios. Say goodnight, everybody.
Good
Good night,
night,
everybody.
everybody.